In the studio today, we are very pleased to have the loose and carded versions of the latest action figure to come from Stan Solo Creations, and that is his amazing reproduction of the Star Wars Amanaman figure, a figure from the infamous Last 17. So in today's video, we're going to take a closer look at this figure and the card back, so stay tuned.
Come with me, toy fans.
Hey toy fans, my name is Tony and welcome back to the Analog Toys YouTube channel. Amanaman was a background character who appeared at Jabba's palace in scenes from Return of the Jedi. And according to Star Wars lore, Amanaman was a mysterious Omani headhunter who worked as a bounty hunter. And Amanaman also preferred to use traditional hunting weapons over blasters. And this is a really impressive figure. It's one of the action figures from the original kind of Star Wars line that really stands out from the rest. You know, he's not a main character, but his overall stature and appearance really makes him stand out among the rest of the range, which makes him a beautifully quirky addition to any vintage Star Wars collection. As with all Stan Solo products, Amanaman is beautifully made. He looks spot on to the original version of the figure. The plastic is just like the type of plastics that Kenner used to use back in the day. The paint job is superb, joints are nice and tight, and the accessory is incredibly well detailed with great paint applications. It is a little bit difficult getting the figure to stand up on his own, much like the original, so I suggest using a clear plastic star stand for this figure, and don't just use a stand. You want to make sure that you use one of the larger star stands that are available. And Stan Solo Creations is also offering this Amanaman figure in two different carded versions, so let's take a look at those. Much like they did when they produced the Yak Face figure, which was available on both a Power of the Force card back with the collector's coin, or on the European Tri-Logo style card back, they have done the same thing with Amanaman. So you have the two different card back variations depending on which is your preference. Personally for me, I really do like the Power of the Force card back because there is an additional bubble behind the action figure that stops him kind of from leaning over to one side like he does on the Tri-Logo card back. But again, that is how they were sold originally. So Smithfield Creations is all about getting these accurate to the original. And I must say, I am really, really impressed, not just with this card back, but with every carded figure I've ever got from Stan Solo. When you compare these to the Hasbro Retro Collection, those cards are flimsy. I don't like the dog-eared edging, and the quality just isn't there. It is not up there with Stan Solo Creations. And while we're speaking about quality, that brings me on to another point. A lot of people in the community have somewhat complained that Stan Solo products are a little bit too expensive. So let's try and put that into perspective a little bit. Here we have an independent fan maker of vintage style Kenner action figures, and the Stan Solo company does not have anywhere near the same kind of resources as a massive global toy company like Hasbro. So to me it's obvious that they are not going to be able to produce carded action figures or even loose action figures at anywhere near the same kind of price range as Hasbro. But the reason I have no issue paying that kind of extra premium for Stan Solo products is because the card backs are far, far superior to anything that you get from Hasbro, and so are the action figures themselves. The quality of plastics used on Stan Solo action figures are absolutely identical to the original Kenner figures. Identical in look, feel, and texture. Unlike the Hasbro Retro Collection, where the figures are made from a different kind of plastic that's all gummy, and you're able to bend the arms, and you can tell and you can certainly feel that these action figures, these reproductions from Hasbro, are not anywhere near close to the original. I just love the feel of articulating a joint on a Stan Solo action figure, because it reminds me of getting an original Kenner Star Wars figure back in the day, like a brand new figure. You take it out and the joints are all nice and tight. You don't get that same experience with Hasbro's Retro Collection figures. In addition to that, with the Hasbro Retro Collection, they have produced 12 already released action figures across 2 waves. Each wave had an action figure that had never before been released, so that's 2 kind of new characters. And then, for no damn reason, they brought out the Mandalorian retro collection that nobody asked for. And I don't know why they gave the figures in this particular line vinyl capes, when you look at the timeline, these figures would have been post Return of the Jedi, by which time Return of the Jedi action figures had cloth good capes. You know, vinyl capes were removed from the original Kenner line after The Empire Strikes Back. So between Hasbro's two retro collection lines for Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, and if you also want to include the Mandalorian set, they have produced 21 retro-styled action figures. A massive global corporation has produced 21 retro-styled action figures over the last few years. And the quality here is far inferior to what you get from Stan Solo. On the other hand, Stan Solo, an independent fan maker of reproduction Kenner action figures and custom action figures, has created countless new action figures. I'm not even sure how many he's produced, but in my collection alone, there are over 30 different characters, and I have certainly not picked up everything that's available in the line. And this is what astounds me. You know, an independent fan maker of these action figures has produced a wider variety of different characters in far superior quality with much, much better card backs. I just don't know what Hasbro are playing at. I mean, when you take a look at their original Star Wars Retro Collection line, we got 6 figures that have already been produced before. Now, before you say anything, I know Stan Solo is reproducing figures, but they're not reproducing easy to acquire figures like Han Solo, Chewbacca. I mean, Chewbacca is a readily available action figure. That's what Hasbro decided to bring out. No, Stan Solo are giving us the action figures that have become far too expensive for a lot of collectors to pick up. As an example, and this screenshot was taken today from eBay, a carded Power of the Force Amanaman, which actually isn't even in perfect condition, is worth upwards of $600 US. Loose Amanaman figures with the staff accessory but without the coin sell for around $200. And yet through the Stan Solo Etsy page, you can pick up a loose Amanaman figure in amazing condition for around $40 and a carded one for about $70-75. I don't know exactly because on my phone it comes up in Australian dollars and I'm too lazy to do the currency conversion for you. And I understand that this is more expensive than the action figures that were supplied by Hasbro, but I've said it before, these are far, far superior in quality. Stan Solo is also giving us the type of action figures that we actually want. He's not making dumb decisions like Hasbro bringing out a Fortnite Snake Eyes G.I. Joe, or those absolutely ridiculous 6-inch Black Series figures that they just announced that are supposed to look something like a 6-inch version of an original vintage figure. I mean, these 3 figures here just prove that Hasbro is just creatively bankrupt at this point. In addition to all that, Stan Solo Creations, almost without fail, always ships their pre-orders when they say they're going to ship. And your wait times are actually not that long. Again, talking about this ridiculous Fortnite-inspired G.I. Joe classified Snake Eyes, which Hasbro only announced last week, it's a pre-order that's gone up for a figure that's not available until the beginning of 2022. For those other collectors out there like myself who are really passionate about the original Kenner Star Wars line, and you want to add some unique and interesting figures to your collection, like the variety of droids that became available from Stan Solo, then you need to be going to a company like Stan Solo Creations, because unfortunately the Retro Mandalorian collection just did not do it for me. And yet the huge variety of different astromech droids and protocol droids that are available from Stan Solo have done nothing but enhance the quality of my original vintage collection. And I'm also very pleased to be able to add a new character that just arrived in the mail today. An R2-G4 is available now through Stan Solo's Etsy page. The link is in the description of this video. I am absolutely blown away by the way that Chris Smith is able to just continue delivering these amazing high quality products time after time after time. Like, the guy never misses a beat. And in addition to this new Amanaman action figure, Stan Solo Creations have also offered us Amanaman, which I think is just a genius idea. I don't know what came first. Obviously the name Amanaman is a play on words between Amanaman and Darth Maul, and they've coloured him in the same red and black styled tattoos as the Darth Maul character. Makes for another amazingly interesting addition to your collection, and I just like the whole quirkiness and the idea behind Amanaman potentially being a headhunter subservient to the Darth Maul character or something. Now, to all the staunchly anti-repro people out there who may jump into the comments of this video and blab on about, you know, they wish that Hasbro would go after this guy and he needs to be shut down and all that, your days are done. I've had enough of listening to you guys. Any comments like that on this video will just be automatically deleted and you'll be blocked from the channel because you guys are dinosaurs, man, and we are bored of hearing from you. Now, to my fellow Stan Solo collecting friends, in case you're not yet aware, Stan Solo also has pre-orders up for a reproduction of the A-Wing fighter, another one of the last 17 characters, and also his own interpretation of the Slave Leia character. And I'm absolutely certain that Chris Smith is going to knock this one out of the park. They're available for pre-order now on the Stan Solo Etsy page. Link is in the description below. So if you love the Vintage Kenner Star Wars line like I do, and you want to expand upon your collection with some interesting entries that were not available back in the late 70s and early 80s, you can't go past Stan Solo Creations. And if it's quality that interests you, then it really is worth paying that additional premium to obtain Stan Solo action figures over the cheaper, inferior figures available from Hasbro. So Chris Smith and Stan Solo Creations, keep doing what you do, and I'll keep buying action figures from you, because they are just amazing. So thank you all for watching, and if you'd like this video and you'd like to check out our video where we review the Stan Solo droid action figures, you can click right here. Or to check out an older review where we discuss reproductions of Yak Face and Blue Snaggletooth, you can click right here. I'm Tony from Analog Toys, and may the Force be with you.